Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you quickly how to create a Mailchimp campaign, a basic email campaign with Photoshop, or rather with the assistance of Photoshop. I've also got a lot of pre-written text that's going to go into the campaign that I've already put into a notepad document right over here, and we will use that in the campaign. So we'll start by going into the Mailchimp account, and you'll be signed in, and then you go to create, and here you'll see where there's a bunch of different options. Now I may or may not in a future video go into the others, but we're going to start with the email one. You start by typing a campaign name. Now this is just an internal name, so no one else is going to see this. Your subscribers aren't going to see this, and so I'm just going to go with what the email content is going to be. Vibes, you know, everybody's vibing these days. It's a new buzzword. And so there I've typed it in, and so we're going to go ahead and hit begin. And now that that's saved, you'll see that now we can set a number of settings for this email. Of course, we want to start by adding our recipients, configuring who is going to receive this email. So granted, you have some audiences set up, you would choose that. We're going to go ahead and stick to sending this to all subscribers in this audience. And one big tip is to personalize the to field with the F name, L name merge tags. And now what this does is it personalizes the email a little further. It increases the likeliness that someone will actually open your email and decrease the likeliness of it being marked as spam by email clients. This is just the science of it, and that's the way it works. And it's always good to have that information collected when you build your audience as well. So we're going to go ahead and save that now. Once that's saved, we're going to go ahead and head over here to the from field and configure the from settings. This is where you're going to be sending the email from. You want to type in an email address that you have already verified in Mailchimp, as well as your company's name or your name, depending on who you're sending it from. And then we just go ahead and save it. And now we head over here to add subject. Here's where we want to put a subject line that is, of course, catchy. You know, I'm going to go ahead and put in what I've pre-written. I'm putting in that, you know, that lit merch from only $1. Dollar amounts work really well in these emails. The other cool feature is that Mailchimp allows you to put emojis into subject lines to catch attention. So obviously this is all about attention. The reason we're doing this and focusing on the subject line is that is the initial point that someone will view your email. So the dollar amount, the emoji, it's all there to catch their attention. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to the preview text, and that preview text has to match what you're saying in the subject line, but not repeat it. So I've also pre-written some of that. There you go. Get a 99% discount on all merch on Herschel's Super Merch Shop, and get some merch for only $1. As you can see, it emphasizes or elaborates on what I have in the subject line without repeating it. So that's another chance that you have after they've sort of seen the subject line. Most inboxes or most email clients also have a little bit of preview text that shows what's in the body of that email before they open the email. So we definitely want to have something that's catchy, and we're just going to save that. Next thing is now, of course, the meat of it is designing the content of your email. So I'm going to go ahead and run down and select the one column basic template. It's a blank template, which of course works really well for what I need right now, but you have a bunch of different options. Just going back here, I can kind of show you there's a bunch of other options. So I've selected that one, and now we're going to drop in some of that pre-written text that I was talking about. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the text. Then you want to click on the text box, and it'll open it for editing. I'm going to paste in what I've pre-written. Type in a catchy title there. This isn't always entirely necessary, but of course, the more text you have, the better. You know, your emails won't get flagged as spam as much. If people are opening it and they're seeing what they want to see or what they signed up for right away, it's always good. Just to be even extra vibey, I'm going to go ahead and put this in Comic Sans. Other things you want to do, you probably want to emphasize some of the text using underlining, bolding, some of this. I'm going to go down here and even highlight the text in yellow just to call attention to it. So now we've got everything we want in the body, and what we're going to do is going to jump over and create a header image. What I've done is I'm going to pop over to Photoshop here. What I've done is created or I'm going to be creating a new image that is 1200 by 2400. So 1200 pixels wide by 2400 high. And I'll explain why in a second, why those numbers are important, or rather the width number is more important. So here I've got my blank document. I'm just going to pop over to Envato Elements to grab a image. As you can see, I've searched the term vibes, and just looking down here. Oh, this is neat. Found a little cassette tape that's pink with a blue background. I mean, nothing is more vibey than that. Go ahead and save that to my computer. Now I'm going to jump over to Photoshop real quick, open the image. Gonna find it here and open it. There we go. There's my vibey cassette tape. Now I'm just gonna move the graphic over to my blank canvas that I've got there. Just gonna crop that down a little bit to size, and there we go. I've got a good starting point here for an image that I'm gonna put together. Now we're going to export the image, and this is also very important. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to export it in JPEG format because it is a somewhat complex image. I got some gradients and stuff in there, so JPEG is probably the best format in this case. If there's a lot of flat colors in the image, then you definitely want to use a PNG format. But in this case, like I said, JPEG is what's going to work best. So I'm going to set that as the format. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the quality down to 20% here on this slider very carefully. Of course, you can also type it in, but I set it there on the slider. And then as you can see, this doesn't really degrade the quality much. There isn't any noticeable degradation of the quality of the image, which is great. And then I'm going to go ahead and export that and save it to my computer. All right, now that's saved. We're going to head back over to Mailchimp. Now, click the logo section, click replace. Of course, we don't have a logo, so we're going to upload the banner image that we just made, or the header image. I'm going to find that on the computer, upload it, and we're going to go ahead and insert the image into the email. As you can notice, this is looks nice. Fonts all match. It looks consistent with the rest of the design. All is well. Continuing on, we're going to go over to the settings menu, and just to give it a little bit of an extra nicer look, I'm going to go ahead and make it edge to edge. That's optional. What it did is it kind of put the image all to the edge, keep it consistent with the rest of the email, and give it this nice little postcard type look with the gray image in the background. Now, the next thing that I want to call attention to is the Retina image support section of this settings area. So we're going to constrain this image to 50%. And so when I click that, you'll notice it doesn't really actually change anything, you see. And the reason for that is that the screen that I'm looking at this, that I'm doing this on, is actually a Retina display. But not only that, we created this image, remember, in 1200 pixels wide, and the width of this email is 600. So by default, it was already resizing the image to fit the frame. All we're telling it now is that whenever somebody's displaying this email on a Retina screen, keep it at 50% of the original image size so that the image looks crisp. And so this is really important, especially now that so many people are opening emails in their smartphones. So we're going to go ahead and save and close. So we've got now the header image saved. We've got the body content that we copy and pasted earlier. And so we're almost there. The only thing that's lacking that's really important is some kind of call to action. Because this is a retail email, I'm going to go ahead and drop in a button that says, hey, come to our website and buy something. And so that was the one thing that was missing from this whole message. I went ahead and put that in. The other thing the other thing I forgot is the other way to call to action is also to put in, for example, if you've got some kind of promo code, a way for your customers or subscribers to redeem your offer. You definitely want to put it in there very prominently, very large, so that they know exactly how to get that discount. If you're using something like Shopify, and I can probably get into this in a later tutorial, you can actually drop that promo code into the link, so they don't have to do anything extra. So now we have the promo code, we have the button. Now we're just going to click on the button again so that we can enter the URL that the button will link to. I'm just going to go ahead and type in some URL here. Of course, you want it to go to something that's pertinent to your promotion. So don't have it go to another page or the home page of your website unless that discount or promotion is also on that email. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close. Oh, the other thing I forgot is obviously the button text. Instead of buy now, you may want to put something like, shop now, all caps. I like doing that. The other thing is styling the button to be consistent with the style of your email. First thing I'm going to do is make it, this kind of pink color to match the vibiness of the rest of the email. Let's take a look at that. Okay, we could probably mute that just a little more. There we go. I think I'm closer. So, and then the other thing is the font, of course, you want it to match the rest of it. So everything has its fonts that you can configure. Next thing is the social media section where you can put in Twitter, Facebook, your website. Obviously those other social media accounts I put in were fake. This is my real email. Real URL. You can put email in. And then a number of things, Flickr, Dribbble, everything from Vimeo to SoundCloud, Snapchat, which is a good one, Instagram, YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and click Snapchat. You can just put in any your Snapchat account, of course, or a link to your Snapchat account there, and then save that. The other thing you can do is also style this area to look different ways. So you can do vertical, horizontal buttons, large, small, black and white. So all these different configurations. So I'm just going to go with the color one, outlined, save and close. There you go. Nice clean look. Now for the footer section. There's a lot of different things that you can do in this section. But most of this information you have to have. But I'm just going to give you a way to sort of cut it down so it's not so bulky. Remove the word copyright. You can leave the year merge tags in there. You don't necessarily have to put, the list company in there. If the store is called something else, you may want to put that in manually. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in some fake, some sample text there just for demonstration. Okay, and then of course, I want to remove all rights reserved. That's kind of redundant. Now, this description and all that, you could put it in there manually. And that's just letting people know why they are subscribed to you. The words "our mailing address is," I think, is a little bit superfluous, so we're going to remove that and just put the address straight in. All right, so we've got the address in there. The next thing is some of this stuff is really extra as well. We can just remove most of this text for the preferences and unsubscribe link. Put a vertical line in there, and then just cut that to just the word unsubscribe, and there you have it. That way you just have a preferences link and an unsubscribe link, which are required. The last thing is this text here, which Mailchimp kind of sticks in there if you agree to do the rewards thing. Personally, I don't like Mailchimp advertising on my advertising, so I go ahead and remove that. So I save and close, and here we go. You've got a complete email. Save and close. Now that's saved, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can do. One of them is you can set a campaign link. So you can also send out a link that has this email. You're going to have to use one of your pre-approved Mailchimp domains, of course. I'm just going to keep it all the same for now. You can share to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's some additional settings here. For example, I like using conversations to manage replies. What that does is it takes all the vacation responders, out of office replies, email non-existent replies, and puts them all in one place for you instead of sending them all to your inbox. So that's a real good way to manage all that if you've got a really big list. Of course, you've got Google Analytics tracking over here, which I can get into in another email as well. I mean, another tutorial. And then so we're going to go ahead and save that. And now we've got all of our settings saved and the email completely built. You can either send or schedule the email. But before we do that, the last thing you probably want to do is send a test email. And so we're going to jump up here, and right below the preview of the email, there is a send test email link. And this is where you can, test all the links and the content of the email, maybe proofread it one last time. So we're going to jump over and we're just going to click that link. And then we're going to type out which email we want to send that test email to. In this case, I'm just going to type in my own email address and then send test. Now that's complete. We're going to go over to my inbox, and there you have it. Beautiful composed email. So of course the only link I put in here is the call to action. So we're going to scroll down, check the email, proofread, whatever, click the call to action. And in your case, you probably want to test out all the social media links, make sure those are good. Maybe even put some additional text to encourage people to follow, but it looks like everything works. And so I think we're good to go. And so thank you for watching, and please subscribe.